She had a job, a salary, a wage that landed in an account every month, and almost none of it was hers to spend. This is what it looks like to earn your own money and still have to ask permission to use it. On payday, the money arrived, and within a day, it was gone, moved to an account she paid into but was not allowed to see. What was left for her was an allowance, a fixed amount handed over to cover whatever she might need that week, out of money she had earned herself. She kept receipts, not for tax, not for budgeting, to prove what she had spent in case she was asked. And she was asked. She got used to small things, checking before she bought anything. A card declined at a till because a limit she had never agreed to had been reached. Working out quietly whether she could afford a coffee with her own colleagues. On the outside, none of this showed. She had a job, a house, a husband. People thought she was fine. Nobody saw the permission slips. So here is the question this episode is about. How does a woman with her own income end up with no access to her own money without ever being hit? It did not start as control. That is the part worth saying slowly. It started as care. I'm better with money. Let me handle the bills so you don't have to. At first, that felt like relief. One less thing to carry. Then her wages were moved to his account to make budgeting easier, he said. A joint account she funded, but he managed. Then a credit card taken out in her name, just for the household, just to keep things simple. Her own account was quietly left empty, then closed. Passwords changed to ones she was not told. Statements that arrived addressed to her, opened by him. Each step looked reasonable on its own. That is the thing about it. No single moment looked like abuse. But together, they removed every independent pound she had. And that slowness was not an accident. It was the method. Here is something most people do not know. In this country, what was happening to her has a name in law. The Domestic Abuse Act, 2021, defines economic abuse. It is behaviour that has a substantial adverse effect on a person's ability to acquire, use, or keep money, or to obtain goods and services. That is not a description of a strict husband. That is the legal description of her marriage. Now zoom out from her kitchen, because she is not rare. In a single year, 1 in 7 women in the UK experienced economic abuse from a current or former partner. 1 in 7. That is around 4.1 million women. Nearly a quarter of them said the same thing. The abuse was the reason they could not leave. Around 940,000 women held in place not by a locked door, but by money. And most of them said nothing. More than 4 in 10 women who experienced economic abuse did not seek any help, often because they did not have the words for it. You cannot ask for help with something you cannot name. Then there is the debt. Because this kind of control leaves a paper trail, and the paper is in her name. In specialist casework with victim survivors, 7 in 10 had a banking debt. The average was around £4,600. Debt taken out for his control, that becomes her problem the day she leaves. And economic abuse does not sit on its own. It sits inside domestic abuse. An estimated 2.2 million women in England and Wales experience domestic abuse in a single year. This is not a rare event. It is a common one that is rarely spoken about out loud. So what does the law actually do? 2 things are true, and most people know neither. The first is that economic abuse is, in law, a form of domestic abuse. The second is that controlling or coercive behaviour has been a criminal offence since 2015. It carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. For a long time, that law had a gap. It only counted control while 2 people were living together. But control does not end when the relationship does. The coerced debt outlasts him. The drained account outlasts him. The broken credit file outlasts him. So in April 2023, the law changed. It now covers former partners too, because the harm does not stop at the front door, and the law finally caught up with that. Now, the most important part. She has spent years reading that debt as evidence. Evidence that she is bad with money. Evidence that she cannot be trusted with her own finances. But the evidence says the opposite. The debt in her name is not a record of her choices. It is a record of his control. She did not lose her grip on money. It was taken from her, slowly, on purpose. And it is not only money that gets taken. It is confidence. In that same specialist casework, most of the victim survivors with a debt in their name had been left with very little confidence in handling money at all. That is not a coincidence either. When someone else controls every financial decision for years, the skill is not lost. It is simply never allowed to be used. So when she finally stands on her own, she feels like someone who cannot manage money. When the truth is, she is someone who was never allowed to. And the anger here belongs somewhere specific, not at her and not at men. Most partners who manage the household money are not abusers. The line is not who pays the bills. The line is control and the removal of choice. There is something that happens when a thing gets its right name. A careful husband keeps her stuck. There is nothing to act on. Economic abuse gives her somewhere to stand, because that phrase has a meaning in law, and the pattern of control behind it can be a criminal offence. So, one move, not a plan to confront him, not a decision made at midnight, one phone call in confidence to people who hear this every single day. The place to start is the National Domestic Abuse Helpline. It is free, confidential, and open 24 hours a day, run by the charity Refuge. The number is 080820000247. An advisor there will not tell her she is bad with money. They will recognize the pattern before she is finished describing it. And if the debt is the part that frightens her most, there is a free line built just for that. The Financial Support Line, run by Money Advice Plus with surviving economic abuse, on 080819688845. On payday, the wage still lands in an account she cannot see, for now. But something has changed. She finally has the words for what is happening, and she has a free, confidential number that exists for exactly this. If this story feels familiar, this channel exists for that reason. You can subscribe for more calm, documentary-style explanations of money, pressure, and real life in the UK.